Hey everybody, Steve here. We are airing this one out of production order because of the recent passing of Steve Albini, so we moved this one up on the production schedule. So as a result, there'll be a few time distortion effects where we refer to an album by the British new wave of heavy metal band Samson, which was Bruce Dickinson's pre-Iron Maiden band. So we haven't actually released that episode yet, but it will be coming in a few weeks. So if you're wondering where that came from, yeah, we filmed it on the same day. Anyway, let's get into it.
This is an album that Jerry Lee Lewis wrote before he killed one of his wives. Hello, and welcome to Side A, Side B with Dave and Steve. I'm Dave.
And I'm Steve.
And today we have
Clayton.
All right. So what do you guys know about the recently deceased Steve Albini?
I basically only know him from the Nirvana album he produced and some bits and pieces that you've told me over the years that I've probably forgot because I have ADHD and memory problems.
I mean, I'm a fan. I've read a couple interviews from him, and I like the way he talks and the way he looks at sound and the way he kind of engineers and produces things. And I've heard the first or the second Big Black album, I guess, songs about fucking. I don't know if I'd call it one of my favorites, but it's a record. And
Yeah.
I also like his other band Shellac quite a bit. I liked them quite a bit more than Big Black, so I'm interested to hear what the earlier Big Black sounds like.
Today we are going to talk about Atomizer, the first full length by Big Black. Their very earliest stuff, they did EPs because Steve Albini realized how exhausting this kind of music is to listen to. So he's like, yeah, let's just do like 4 or 5 songs at a time. But like for this one, I feel like it kind of leveled up from there. Like these are some of their best songs, all on a full length record. This is a pretty harsh and unforgiving record. You know, he was an opinionated guy and he was big into exploring the dark side and like especially this early on, telling edgy jokes, which now you can say some of them might not have aged as well. But he also, like, as he got older, you could tell he was kind of cool about that kind of stuff. And that, like, you know, he was like, yeah, if anyone doesn't like what I do because the band after Big Black was called Rape Man, I shouldn't have had a band called Rape Man. That was a bad idea. And if anyone doesn't like my stuff based off of that, that is perfectly fine. You know, he was just like a really cool guy as a whole. And like he was one of those people who was, you know, like in a sense of personal ethics, uncompromising, but in the sense of that he made harsh, unapproachable music, was willing to admit that it wasn't for everyone and that he was serving a niche audience, and found that to be a pretty good balance. I know a lot about them. Like, I was familiar with them until I read the book, Our Band Could Be Your Life, and there's a chapter on it, on Big Black specifically within that, and like reading that was like, oh, this is awesome, and I should listen to all of it. And that was kind of how I got into the band. And so a lot of the background information I know comes from that. But also, he was just like a really open guy in the later years of his life. Like he would go on like just any old podcast if you asked him to. So too bad I didn't know that before he died. We could have...
Well, now I got to invent that time machine.
Yeah. Bring back Steve Albini to talk about Diano. He would have hated it so much.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know much about his music, but I do know enough about his production philosophy and the way that he handles like royalties and stuff with bands. Like he doesn't think that he should be able to collect royalties on an album that he recorded like 30 years ago, which I really respect because he's been in situations where it'd be really hard to turn that down, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he's got royalties from In Utero. I think he
he just took the flat fee and that was
he
it.
just took the fee to record it and never took then that's one of the, it's a Nirvana album, so it's one of the biggest albums.
Yeah. It's the best Nirvana album in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
it sounds the best. As a non-Nirvana fan, it is the best sounding Nirvana album.
One of the things I also like about him too is like he did the work of a producer, but he didn't like being called a producer. He liked to be called an audio engineer. I think it was because of like the expectations that as a producer you get some kind of royalty and a cut of all the sales, and he felt like doing that kind of thing was robbing the artist. And a lot of his approach to recording was, okay, just get a don't worry too much about all the bells and whistles. Just get like a decent enough quality microphone, point it at the amp, and see what you get from that, as well as like setting up microphones around the room to record the room and just get the sound of the moment. That was really cool. And yeah, just like his consistent sense of personal ethics, like, I'm not going to take a check for this. I am going to stand up for my principles and how I run the studio I own and not exploit anyone to do it. I just have a lot of respect for. And the fact that he kind of mellowed out some as he got older to make himself easier to talk to and approach. Although he doesn't regret like writing zines where he trash talked other 80s punk bands, because he was like a lot of zines at the time were just overly positive, and it's like, yeah, you need the people to be really positive to cheer things on, but then you need the people who just fling shit at everyone just to kind of balance things out. And so
to be honest, I kind of respect a guy that just flat out, like, in my experience, I hate it when people like try to butter my bread and tell me that they like my music when they clearly don't. Like, I would much rather somebody tell me that the music I make is shit than to tell me what I want to hear. And I respect that about him, but it had to have been super hard to be like that in this industry.
Oh yeah, I think he talked shit about the Pixies while recording them, but later he and like Kim Deal, their bass player, became best friends. And, yeah, he was that kind of guy. When he unprivated his Twitter because of canceling the tour for the pandemic, and was just available for anyone with a Twitter account to just talk to, you kind of got the sense of what kind of person he was too. He didn't want to reprivate his Twitter because it's basically impossible to, and you can't really do that without blocking a bunch of people, and he didn't want to block a bunch of people who he had mostly had positive interactions with. So one of the interviews he did kind of later on was with a podcast called Pod Damn America, where he talked about that, and they re-aired it recently, so I'm thinking about that right now. Yeah, he was just a really approachable guy, and one who stood up for his principles, and one who wasn't afraid to share his opinion, but also eventually was really easy to get along with. This is Atomizer. This is Big Black. This is his harshest era. I don't think this is the harshest Big Black record, but this is an incredibly harsh record as a whole. If you really want to get what kind of point he was at in his head while we listen to it, there's a little insert in the record that has not lyrics, but little essays he wrote about each and every song, including the opening track, Jordan, Minnesota, which we'll talk about after we listen to it.
Kind of reminds me of the way Devin Townsend like puts down his lyrics on songs, is sometimes like he can't fit what he wants to write for the lyrics. So like, in the booklet, like he puts something that isn't actually what he sings in the song, and that used to confuse the hell out of me. Yeah, so what kind of stuff are we going to be hearing from this album?
This was, by this point, their original bass player, who was the lead singer to Naked Ray Gun, had quit the band, and so they'd gotten another bass player.
What like in order, which album is this?
This is their very first record. They put out a few EPs before it. But yeah, their original bass player had quit. They were a three-piece. It was Steve Albini as the vocalist and guitar player, Santiago Durango on guitar, who was also a member of Naked Ray Gun, and Dave Riley on bass. And their drummer on this was named Roland.
Just Roland?
It was a drum machine.
Oh.
They credited it as Roland, even though at this point they'd replaced their TR-606 with a drumulator, but they still just credited it as Roland.
That's great. Well, all right. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing this bastard. So let's, do we got anything else to note before we put this fucker on?
These were nerds in Chicago in the 80s. The cover to songs about fucking is from anime, or from a manga.
So as nerds from the Midwest in the 21st century, we'll probably relate a lot to this.
Yeah, it's very angry, chip on the shoulder, edgy 20-something music.
Well, all right. Well, let's cue this shit up and fuck our ears with it.
R.I.P. Steve.
All right, we are back. That was side one. Fellas, what did you think?
I thought it was really good. No,
we're going to make a compilation of you saying that.
I felt like this album had a lot of things in it that went on to influence things that I listened to. to the point that, I could recognize elements of even like Fear Factory, of Ministry, and then just basically like the entire industrial rock movement.
Yeah, I didn't say this before, but this was made in 1986.
I really like the repetitive nature of the songs. I've mentioned before that I like repetitive songs, especially in this like industrial context. I think it's a really good thing to like zone out to, or bob your head to, or, just conk out to, and not like think about things anymore. I really enjoyed the abrasive nature of the music because I just like abrasive music. I think you and I both share that in common.
Yeah.
Overall, I felt that side was very intense, very raw, and very good. What'd you think, Clayton?
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. Like I said, I've listened to songs about fucking. While I like it, it never really struck me that hard. It didn't just didn't identify with it, I guess. But this one I like a lot. All of the songs have been really good, and I guess yeah, maybe it is like a Midwestern kid thing. Like I just kind of understand it, but I get it. Like in Kerosene, he's talking about when just all you can do is set something on fire. You're in a town, and like, yeah, I get it.
Nothing to do but stare at the walls, look at each other. Well, yeah, like my
Dave, you looked at me and you just said the name of my hometown, and I listened to the lyrics and I was like, yep.
Well, and it's like, it's funny. Like my partner comes from a smaller town than I do, and they talk about how like in high school, how their kind of trashy friends would make napalm by filling styrofoam cups with kerosene and lighting them on fire, and it's like, hey, that's incredibly dangerous. But I used to set paper airplanes on fire and then throw them into the sink in our basement, and then my dad would freak out because I almost burned the house down. So the nihilistic boredom of living in a podunk town in the Midwest is really what a lot of this captures. Like by the time like Steve Albini went to college and was making this, he was living in Chicago, but he was from a smaller town, so like he gets it.
I suppose one advantage I probably would have had over them is I at least had a Sega Genesis, so I could fuck shit up in that at least.
Yeah. Save a house from burning down, burn down a house on a Sega game, play Rampage and play as a kaiju and just stomp all over everything.
I'd put it up there with like other shellac, like some of the shellac stuff I've heard, because I've always put shellac on like a way bigger pedestal than Big Black. So
yeah,
this is kind of a nice wake up where I'm like, you know what, maybe I should give Big Black another chance.
Yeah, like songs about fucking, I think it's a great album, but it was also the album that they made when they already knew they were going to break up, because their lead guitarist, Santiago Durango, knew he was going to go to law school. It's funny to that, like, a lawyer played guitar on this.
I like how we just released the Clash album the day that we're recording this, and we talked about Tory Crimes being a chiropractor. So now we got that to add to the band breakup, or maybe not breakup, but the band member going off and doing a normal thing.
Oh, we should have seen what Paul Sampson did after.
I imagine that Paul Sampson probably was a lot like that movie Anvil, the story of Anvil, where he works in like a high school. Yeah, because he played music for a long time until he died, but it was really only on a regional level. So
Jordan, Minnesota, the opening track was about what was kind of in the news at that time, where there were a bunch of people who had been accused of pedophilia being put on trial. So it is a song about pedophilia, and it has like lyrics like, this is Jordan, we do what we like. The essay that came on the sleeve is like really angry and abrasive, and it's like, it's ultimately taking the side of the victims, but it's also like really hard to read.
Oh, it's intense. It's one of those things where it kind of starts out not really that bad, and then at one point right in the middle of it, I think my eyes just kind of popped open, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah. And I even when I was looking up the Wikipedia article while we were listening to this, I even saw at the bottom it had a whole article about what that song's about.
Yeah. One thing that is interesting about this is, in the moment, it seemed like it was very relevant. Turned out that a lot of that was a hoax. Like in the 80s, there was a lot of cases where parents with an agenda to grind would accuse people they didn't like of pedophilia and then get their kids to lie for them, basically. That was Jordan was largely one of those cases. There ended up being like one person convicted, but it wasn't like a ring. Like someone had an agenda.
So it's kind of like proto Moms of Liberty or some shit.
A lot like that, yeah. There's a really interesting book that was written about a lot of these cases that largely happened in the 80s called We Believe the Children. And it covers Jordan. It covers like the Martin preschool in California. Just a lot of cases like this where someone was willing to traumatize their children to take down their personal enemies, which also is something that sucks, and you could totally write an abrasive, angry noise rock song about it. But yeah, it's a great song, and it's like they didn't know that when they wrote that, and it was ultimately taking sympathy towards victims of pedophilia, and it's not like that kind of thing doesn't happen. Yeah, like if they had written it about the Catholic Church, maybe that would have aged better. Passing Complexion, track 2, one of my favorites off the album. I like that thing the guitar does that I thought was a synth at first, the couple note lead part that goes through like the really high pitch kind of rings. I like the way that the rhythm guitar kind of played off of that with like a kind of scratchy sound. One thing that Steve did as the rhythm guitar player is he would double pick with metal picks with notches cut in them, and also would cut up his hands in the process. So like if you look up live videos of Big Black playing around that time, his shirt is covered with blood. That's his own blood. That's real blood.
So when he was done, did he collect that blood and then put it into the ink for a comic book?
Like Kiss.
Like Kiss, yeah. I can't imagine a band that Steve Albini would have hated more than Kiss.
Oh, absolutely.
Steve Albini doing anything remotely related to Kiss.
Yeah, that just like that kind of repetitive, like high-pitched lead guitar that sounded like a synth.
Yeah, I thought it kind of reminded me of, I want to say like a trap noise that I used in my demos in GarageBand. It definitely had like a synth quality, and if you hadn't pointed out that was a guitar, I would have had no idea.
I would have thought it was a synth if I hadn't seen a video of them playing it live, getting that exact same sound from Santiago's guitar. Big Money, track 3. Not a lot to say about that one. It doesn't like stand out as much as what's before it and what's after it, but yeah, it's a good song. It sounds the most like a normal punk song out of anything on the first side. Little fast and angry song, Decrying Greed. It's hard to make out a lot of the lyrics in these because of all the distortion put on the vocals. But
yeah,
Steve,
it is a little buried, I'd say.
It's a lot of noise, but that's intentional.
Yeah.
I wouldn't chalk that up to recording issues.
Yeah, Steve said he wanted the vocals to be kind of like that because he wanted them to be seen more like just another instrument than like the centerpiece. So he kind of let the vocals go through like the same kinds of effects he would put on a guitar or on the drum machine.
It's almost like, since the vocals are mixed behind the instruments, it's like your thoughts are being drowned out by the music in a sense, and it kind of gives me a sense of what I would consider an audio version of anxiety, maybe in some sense. Like you're trying to push down the voices or the lyrics or whatever, but you have those anxiety feelings up there, like amplifying.
Yeah, Kerosene, best song on the album.
Absolutely best song on the side, at least. I haven't heard the rest of the album. By far, I shouldn't say by far, because I actually enjoyed all the songs, but Kerosene was the best song.
Covered by a bunch of metal bands.
Yeah, covered by a bunch of bands. You had said something about how the guitar sounds like burning. You know, it's a very visceral song, and you kind of feel... It is the most Midwestern, too. It's mechanical. It is a very Chicago kind of sounding song. It's very mechanical and harsh. I don't know. I like it a lot.
Chicago, a city that has famously caught fire many times.
Exactly.
There's more than just the one Chicago fire. Yeah. I think it's the best song Steve Albini did with Big Black, and I think it even took him a while into Shellac before he even like hit that point again. So this was like a career highlight, I think, was this song. It's an incredibly, like harsh and alienating song. It's also kind of a long song, and you don't notice how long it is. But, at some point you're starting to, like settle in, get comfortable with it. Then it kind of like sounds like it's about to stop. Then it comes back just louder than before. I love the way it goes right there. Like at that point, if I'm in my car and I have a passenger who hasn't heard the song anymore, I have seen people like physically jump at that point. And it's just an amazing song, and it starts at like an 8 in terms of intensity, and it escalates into like a 18 out of 10. One of the most intense and harsh noise songs ever written in a genre that's known for being intense and harsh. Last track was Bad Houses. It was a good song. It was like the most chill song on the side. If you weren't going to close with Kerosene, you needed something a little more relaxed.
You need something to slow down after that. And not that it's slow down in terms of Big Black. Not that it's a slow or easygoing song, but it is a little more like dun, 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 groovy and
Yeah, like the instruments are on a lower octave than most of the other songs on it, and it's just kind of a calm down and relax song. It's the it's the easiest listening song on Big Black's Atomizer.
So, Dave, at this point, we'll probably have to make this a running joke, but I think we completely failed to talk about the artwork in the opening.
Oh yeah. What do you think? What do you think of the artwork, the cover art?
So, are we looking at is this like a rocket and dynamite, or what are we looking
It's
at?
the
here?
Atomizer.
Yeah, it's an atom bomb.
Oh, it's an atom bomb. Okay,
But it's being lit like dynamite, so there's like a matchbook with the band's name on it.
that would be very hard to get away from in time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you turn it around here, and we see that David M. Riley here is a bitch magnet,
Yes.
and FM 98, and I would like to welcome you to the Midnight Funk Association. So that's really nice of Electrifying Mojo to invite the bitch magnet himself.
David Riley.
Yeah, including the card here to, really authenticate how authentic that is.
Yeah.
It's a basic cover, but I think it suits the music very well.
It does. It's not as instantly memorable as songs about fucking, but I think it's a good cover. It matches the album. Side 2 is also a good side. It doesn't have a song as good as Kerosene, but most albums don't have a song as good as Kerosene. So, there's that. It doesn't fall off the same way some other albums do. It's just like there's one of the best songs of
Like
the
other
artist's
albums.
career. Yeah.
Like other ones we
You're
may
like-
or may not have recently
Yeah.
listened to.
It doesn't fall off like all those albums Steve brings in.
Not all of your albums fall off on side 2, just the last one we listened to.
Some of them don't even pick up at all.
Well, I had to bring in the Danny Joe Brown album because I needed to show you an obscure but amazing album.
Yeah, that one was good. But yeah, expect like more of the same to a degree, but there aren't a lot of bands who are willing to be this out there. So, more of the same is good.
Well, all right. Well, let's throw this on, and we'll see which side would win in a knife fight. The band Big Black. For some reason, I hear their name in my head in George Carlin's voice because of his bit about the big brown dick.
I mean, that is what a cigar is. He's not wrong.
Oh yeah, he's 100%
Yeah.
right about that.
So that was side B. What'd you guys think?
The first thing that I noticed is that the guitar playing was more traditional, and then after I said that, Clayton was like, well, all the songs on this side were more traditional. So that was the first thing I noticed, is while they still had a very industrial quality to all of them, they seem to be more arranged and performed in a traditional song format rather than the ones on side 1.
Seemed more like a punk band with a drum machine than the first one, which was the sounds of a desiccated urban landscape just crumbling in front of you.
Yeah, Wowie Albini. You knocked it out of the park here, bud.
Yeah.
R.I.P. because this was fucking awesome. I loved it. I loved all the songs. The live one at the end, I really liked.
Yeah, that one was one from one of their earlier EPs. Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, great song. I liked this one much more than songs about fucking, actually.
Yeah.
It made me want to listen to songs about fucking again to be like, well, maybe I'll like it now. Maybe I just get it now. Something clicked when I listened to Atomizer that I just get it now. But Big Black gets an A+ from me.
An interesting thing about like songs about fucking being like so late in their career too is in the book Our Band Could Be Your Life, when it's going into great details about every part of their career, since they put out songs about fucking right before they knew they were going to break up anyway, it's almost barely mentioned, which I think is interesting. It's still a great album, but I think this was Atomizer was their career highlight.
Stupid thought, but couldn't either of the Samson records been called songs about fucking?
I mean, the joke about songs about fucking is way too many songs are just about sex. There's like 2 songs on songs about fucking that are actually about sex. For the most part, they're about like weird shit like serial killers and gangland executions and stuff like that.
One of my favorite Soundgarden songs is Big Dumb Sex, where they make fun of all the glam metal songs about sex.
Yeah, that's the same joke. Yeah, songs about fucking is making, yeah.
Well, and the guys in Soundgarden like this band.
Oh, they definitely did. They probably were jealous of Nirvana for getting to work with him.
Yeah, I'd bet.
They probably could have just asked, though. But hey.
Yeah, they probably could have, honestly. But I've listened to a couple other records that he produced, and like listening to this, I do actually see a lot of like the genesis of where his thoughts were on sound and on songs and what it means, that what a song means. And it was very enlightening to listen to the record, honestly.
Yeah.
It really shows where he came from.
Like the song sounded whole, but they're also pretty stripped back.
Yeah, they had a raw quality that really worked for the songs. I felt like I don't think that mixing style would work for every type of music, but for this, I felt that he really knocked it out of the park when it came to coming up with an album that not only sounded abrasive but also listenable.
Gonna go through the songs a little bit. Each one. Fists of Love, great song.
Great. Title makes me think of Kate Bush.
Yeah.
But the song does not.
No, yeah. It's the one that has the most of the side one style guitar sound. I like it. It takes a little while for the lyrics to come in on a lot of these, but yeah, I liked just the pained vocal delivery. Just really worked on that one. Great song. Stinking Drunk, I think, was my favorite track on this side.
I would agree. Outside of the live one, I liked the last track. The live one. Well, I guess we'll get to that. But
yeah,
this one was also a standout for me.
It was the first one. It was the first one with the quote unquote normal guitar, and it really worked. It sounded heavy as fuck. There's a heaviness to the all the earlier songs, but it's a different kind of heavy. It's more like like a clanging metallic, not metal like heavy metal, but like metallic, like when you strike a cable wire type of metallic. Well, that one was more like heavy metal style heavy, like more like deeper, more layered.
Yeah, I've always heard the term buzzsaw guitar tone, and that was a legitimately buzzsaw guitar tone.
Yeah.
It sounded like
perfect way to describe it.
It sounded like a power tool more than an instrument, which is definitely what he's going for.
Oh, a funny thing I neglected to mention about like how he played guitar too. Like I talked about his weird picking style. That was also self-harm. He stopped doing that eventually. Like he stopped doing that, I think, with Rape Man, but he definitely wasn't doing it anymore by the time of Shellac. But one thing he still kept doing throughout his whole career through the end was he did not wear a strap on his guitar. Like, he didn't wear it over his shoulder. He fastened it to a belt around his waist. Like it was a pistol. Yeah.
That goes Quick Draw Beanie.
And then, Bazooka Joe. We're going to keep talking about the guitar. I liked that kind of surf guitar riff it had going in it. That's not like the kind of thing you really expect to come out of this band, but just like there's that kind of clean, reverby, like surf guitar.
I agree. I really like the surf guitar, and I like a lot of bands like this, probably bands that were influenced by this, like harsh noise industrial stuff. A lot of times, a lot of the songs sound the same, and I hate that. I hate to say it like that because like that could be described to any fucking genre.
Oh yeah. I say that about a lot of death metal and black metal bands. Like you have 6 of the same band in a row because they all sound the same.
Yeah.
So I know what you're talking about. That does happen a lot in industrial.
That is like a subjective thing, but I like that they just like every song had its own kind of personality a little bit. They were all they're from the same band, but they all kind of spoke in a different way,
and they all gave you something melodic, even if it was very deep, to kind of latch your ear onto.
You
like
could still bob your head to it, because that drum machine is going.
Yeah,
I love the sound of the drum machine on this.
The drum machine could not be mixed better, in my opinion. Like there is no better way to mix a drum machine.
Drumulator was
guitar.
a good choice.
Yeah, and then Cables. Nope, Cables was the live one, but before that we have Strange Things, which was Steve Albini himself has called it an instrumental. There are some vocals in the middle that are too distorted to even make out what they're saying remotely. There's a lot of chanting of "hey," which reminded me of "oi." And then when I said that while listening to it, Clayton started saying "oi" along to it, which was pretty great. But yeah, it was the jock jam of the album, and I mean that as a compliment. It was just like a fun little pump up song. It was like the only song off this album that they didn't include on a CD compilation at one point. So like they had a CD compilation of like this song and the EPs after it called The Rich Man's 8-track tape. And it included just this whole album except for that song, I guess, so people would still buy the record. But that was a good song. Yeah. I wouldn't have left it off. The album was unavailable on CD otherwise, but that was, just a fun song. That's the one. I can also see why if they had to cut one song, that would be the one they would cut because it was the least noteworthy, but it was fun.
I liked it. Fun song.
Yeah.
Fun song. But the last song is the one I liked.
Yeah, Cables. Yeah, live song from an earlier release. It did not sound like a live song until you started hearing the crowd noises at the end.
Yeah.
Although at one point, Steve, you said, was that a tea kettle? And no, that was just feedback from one of the mics.
I legit thought that they like recorded a tea kettle and sampled it throughout the song, but yeah, you mentioned it was a live song, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, so it's feedback. You know, it did have a raw quality that could probably be chalked up to the live recording, but overall, I thought it felt like it belonged with the other ones. And I've seen bands just stick a live track onto an album before, and you know, it's weird sonically, but in this case it wasn't.
No, what sounds weird sonically was like the 2 tracks that the label brought in another producer for on In Utero that weren't done by Steve Albini.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like Heart-Shaped Box and All Apologies just don't work on the album with a different mix. Like, they're both great songs, but I wish they would have just left the Albini mix for the whole thing on that.
The record company's making terrible decisions. What?
Yeah, it fit better on this record than especially Heart-Shaped Box fit on In Utero.
You guys should listen to, do you ever listen to that band, the Jesus Lizard? That Jesus Lizard album that Steve Albini produced is really good too.
Goat. Yeah, that is
Goat. That's what it was. That one is also really good.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, I can see the genesis into how he just saw bands and music and how that should be put to a record. I loved it. 10 out of 10. This is so much better than Samson.
Yeah.
This was so much better than Samson. Sorry.
Just for that, I'm going to make you listen to what's the next bad one I'm going to bring in.
You know, you can bring in. You've brought in good ones before. You can keep bringing in good ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Samson wasn't
don't
awful.
Make me
it was
bring
just
in a bad one. I've got a couple like stinkers in my collection. I got Bruce Willis's album. You ever listen to Bruce Willis?
That'd be a good
album.
Yeah, we should figure out when our April Fool's episode is dropping and invite you over for that one, and say it's something else.
No, that's when you get Sean and we do Freely's Comet.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that on the recording, should I?
Well, we should put it in here to see if he like listens to it.
Yeah,
and brings it up to us in practice sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can trick Sean into coming over here and listening to the first Ace Frehley solo album, now that's a good time.
Sean, friend of the pod, Ace Frehley.
Yeah.
Sean, and friend of the pod, Ace Frehley.
He's back with his comet.
Circling around the world.
And you're circling around Uranus.
Yeah. Well,
Stan's makeup. All riff.
It's circling
He's
around.
a goofy looking motherfucker without makeup, isn't he?
They all are.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all so ugly.
Yeah.
Steve Albini wasn't ugly, pretty man.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I don't know.
I mean, he looked.
He looked like a guy.
Yeah, he looked like a guy.
I almost love that he just looked like some fucking guy that you just see on the street.
Yeah, he looked like I saw. Like, I go to Chicago pretty regularly because it's a cool city with a lot to do, and I see a billion guys that could have been him every time I've been there.
And they all want to be.
Yeah.
By the way, if anybody with any sort of power anywhere can do it, high-speed rail between here and Chicago, please.
Yeah, I would love that train ride to be 3 hours rather than 8.
And have it play Big Black the whole time.
Yes.
It only plays Big Black and Shellac. And
you heard it here first. Bitch Magnet Dave says that we need to have high-speed rail between here.
Yeah, that's actually about this Dave.
Yeah, that's not about Dave Riley, the bass player. That's me. Yeah,
that's Bitch Magnet Dave right here.
Yeah. But yeah, no, high-speed rail between Omaha and Chicago. And also, Omaha should have a train route that goes north and south, too, because what if I want to go to Minneapolis and not drive and not take a plane because planes are a hassle?
Or Texas.
Or Texas. Or Kansas City, even.
Or everywhere.
Yeah.
There should be... China is beating us at this. Quit it.
I mean, China's been beating us at this for a while. It's going to be hard to turn around.
Lay-sigh.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, Steve Albini won't be around to see high-speed rail. Rest in peace, buddy.
Rest in peace, buddy. I don't know if we'll be around to see high-speed rail.
No, we won't.
We'll be around to see high-speed rail, but I don't think Steve Albini would have really cared that much.
No, yeah. I guess you maybe would have cared when it came time to tour, but yeah, because I can totally see Shellac like taking the train on tour if it was feasible. if we do this, we don't have to drive. Yeah. But that was Atomizer by Big Black. Clayton, you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, check out Jeremy Mercy and the Rapture Orphans. We got a new record that's recorded. It hasn't been released yet. Maybe it will be by the time this is out.
With how long our back catalog for releases, it could be.
Yeah. So I play in a couple bands. You can find me on Facebook.
And Rapture Orphans is just perfect. Yeah.
Find me on Instagram at Count Pasty if you want. And not much to plug. I will be buying this record. This was a really good one, and you should listen to it.
Clayton and I are on an EP together called Valley of Shadows Volume 1.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably a decade old at this point now.
2015, I think it was, yeah.
Almost. It's almost a decade old. 10 years old.
Time goes by. And then, you can check Steve and my music out on Steve's website, which is
killrockmusic.com, KILRAVOCK music.com.
And my old band isn't on there, but
actually it is.
Oh, hey, it is now. Okay,
I was in the lineup,
Gong
and then
Gong Farmer's on Steve's site. Yeah,
Gong Farmer.
And I put the link to your album because
Yeah,
I mean, I was somewhat involved in some of the songs on there. So,
Yeah. So
Oh, so you feel the right to take it from the artist. Steve Albini would be disappointed.
Yeah. Dave is going to sue me, but we're going to continue to be in the same band because
just not talk to each other. Yeah. Like, there's so many bands you could say that about where they were all suing each other while actively touring.
fuck you, see you tomorrow.
Yeah. They all had their own lawyers too.
It's really funny whenever Dave Mustaine gets a new band member, because it's almost like whenever somebody gets a new puppy. He just goes around to the press. He's like, "Oh, look, I got Timu off Timu. Check this guy out." Huh?
And a
Anyway,
year
he went to
later,
another
Timu
band
hates
now.
him. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on again, guys. I really appreciate it. Fuck you and see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll be back to make you listen to more Samson records. No.
I think next time we do Clayton, we'll do one of the IRS Black Sabbath records again, I think.
Yeah, we're planning on doing all of the ones off that box set that's going to come out. And then...
Yeah, I'm down. The Tony Martin era is slept on, I think, in Sabbath terms.
I think so,
Yeah.
too.
The Tony Martin and the Glenn Hughes. I like Seventh Star. There's lots of Black Sabbath that people don't fully explore that I think is worth it.
Yeah, I really liked the Tony Martin record I heard. I wasn't expecting much.
I would say, Headless Cross? Is that the one you listened to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Our
would
first
say,
episode.
I would say a Headless Cross is probably the best one, but
I think Tear is up there, too.
I think Headless Cross is the best one that Tony Martin did, but they've all got something. I like Cross Purposes a lot too.
Yeah, for a long time I was calling Cross Purposes my favorite one out of the Tony Martin era, but it's between Headless Cross, Tear, and that one, I feel like they produced a lot of good music that more people need to listen to. And Eternal Idol is also really good, even if it's a little more commercial.
Yeah, well, if you guys do that one, you can listen to the other guy,
The Ray Gillen version.
the Ray Gillen version. But yeah, R.I.P. Steve Albini.
Yeah. You
F.
press F's in the chat. Yeah. I would
F's in the chat
yeah.
for respect to Steve Albini. Press a really loud, harsh F.
Yes. I feel like the music industry would be better if there were more people like him, and the world is worse off without having him. So yeah, R.I.P. Steve Albini.
All right, join us for future episodes. I'm planning on bringing in the Judgment Night soundtrack. Plan on bringing in Surge from System of a Down solo album Harakiri. We're talking about doing the Captain Beyond album. We already plugged the Black Sabbath stuff. Dave, what do you got?
Got a punk comp coming up, which is just like a wide variety of punk bands from all kinds of cities from like 1974 to 1982. So that'll be fun if you want to listen to a double album that has both Flaming Groovies and the Misfits on it. That one's going to be a lot of fun. Then I'm going to do a Perubu's debut, go back to like the weird art punk with the innovative synthesizer stuff and the high-pitched warbling vocalist. And then after that, I think I'm going to do a Sparks album and just go pure pop. So, yeah, that's what you have to look forward to from me.
So, yeah, subscribe or do whatever the fuck you need to do to make sure we show up in your feed, because we are your friends.
Yes.
Please join us in the ultimate friendship simulator.
If you download our stuff, we will totally be friends with you in real life. We're small enough that might actually be true. But yeah.
Get that parasocial relationship started.
Yeah.
If you leave a comment on any of our social media, chances are we will probably respond to it.
We will actually read it, even if we don't respond to it. It's not like we're so big that we have to just mute the comments instantly.
So if I ask the question, is Black Sabbath a Christian metal band? You can just simply respond no, and I will like that.
Yeah. You have fallen into our trap by responding.
Engagement.
Yeah, by responding to a question obviously baiting engagement.
As you have seen, you have fallen right into my trap. All right, that's it. Dave?
Catch you on the flip side.
Fuck you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, I'm so sorry. Take two.
Well, we can edit the yawns out.
Sorry. Yeah.
Good thing we're not doing 3 albums.
Yeah.
Side 1, Side B is a Floof Goof Studios production. Check us out on the interwebs by going to my website, killrockmusic.com. That's KILRAVOCK music.com. And there's a tab for Side 1, Side B. And additionally, you can check out me and Dave's projects, The Illiterates and Lucid Fugue, respectively. You can also check us out on Instagram at Killrock Music SWS and Dave_Diction. You can also check out our subreddit, Side 1, Side B, and there I post various updates and memes and other bullshit. Thank you.